Hello and welcome to Pluribus Unum's Fireside Chats. Not as good as FDR's, but hey, it's something. So, before we get into any of the news and stuff, we have hit 101 subscribers. Hooray! I mean, I still have very bad fan reaction to videos, but hey, I'll take my victories where I can get them. Now, as you may also notice that there is a Q&A up and running, and you can, even though it's already stated in the video, like, what the rules are, in case you don't know, my rules are very simple. You can ask as many questions as you want. Try to stay on topic if you so desire. We don't have that many questions right now, so, it's up for anybody. Anybody can ask. But anyways, let's just move on to the news. Or as Keemstar once said, let's get right into the news. Before we get into any of the bad stuff and good stuff, I feel it'd be best if we went like bit by bit. So first, Lori Lightfoot, elected Chicago mayor, will be first black woman and first openly gay person to hold post. Lori Lightfoot and Toni Preckwinkle had the first two spots in February's election that saw a historic 14 candidates for mayor, leading to the runoff. Former federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot defeated Toni Preckwinkle in a runoff for Chicago mayor Tuesday. She will be the first openly gay person and first black woman to lead the city. The Associated Press called the race for Lightfoot shortly before 8 p.m. local time. With over 91% of the precincts in, Lightfoot led Preckwinkle 73.7% to 2.3%, according to Chicago Board of Education's website. Lightfoot pumped her first air, and the crowd cheered when she said, "Thank you, Chicago. In this election, Toni and I were competitors, but our differences are nothing compared to what we can achieve together," Lightfoot said. "Now that it's over, I know we'll work together for the city that we both love." Well, I'm kind of happy, yeah. If you've been to my website, the Pluribus Unum, youtube.weebly.com, you'll know that I have endorsed Lori Lightfoot. I originally endorsed Neil Salas Griffin and LaShawn K. Ford, but, I was on board with Lori Lightfoot in the runoff due to the fact that she, it's pretty much the same reason why a lot of people endorsed her. She was the anti-establishment candidate, in a sense. She wasn't, anti-establishment. She has been in the Chicago machine for a bit, but Preckwinkle was kind of the embodiment of the machine. The embodiment of it. And, well, Lightfoot was rightfully rallying against that. And Chicago mayoral races, they usually end up being the challenger versus the machine. It's usually that. In 2015, it was Jesus Chuy Garcia versus Rahm Emanuel. Chuy Garcia, he was running as the anti-establishment candidate, whereas Rahm Emanuel was running with the support of Barack Obama. So, kind of establishment. Now, I would make a video about the Chicago race. I was considering making one, but one, I don't live in Chicago, so I don't really know that much. Well, to be fair, I knew a lot about this race. This race was really interesting because it was all started due to, the reason why Rahm Emanuel wasn't even running was because of this huge controversy over Chicago's well-known police brutality and its well-known racism in the city, and a lot of other aspects, which prompted Preckwinkle, Lightfoot, Ford, Wilson, Willie Wilson. I mentioned him in my latest video. I also mentioned him in the interview with Synonym. But, these guys were all running to be the kind of progressive to lead the protesters that wanted to have a candidate that could actually speak to them, like a mayor that could actually, fight the power, as many people like to say. But, and Lightfoot seemed like she was the one who could actually do that. Despite the fact that there are some aspects of Lightfoot that I think I'm like, these are some not so good things. But I mean, come on, it's like her versus Preckwinkle. They were both really progressive, but it seems like Lightfoot was kind of like the one that was like, it's kind of like, it's basically, in my opinion, it's kind of like the argument of Bobby Kennedy versus Eugene McCarthy. Lightfoot is Eugene McCarthy to me, and Preckwinkle is like Kennedy. Which is ironic, because there's actually a candidate that was kind of running to be the Kennedys of Chicago, Bill Daley, who didn't even make it to the runoff. But Preckwinkle was kind of like, she was in politics for a long time, and it was her thing that was like, it was basically her destiny to be Chicago mayor, because she's been in the Chicago machine for a long time. But Lightfoot, while she had also been politically relevant, seemed to be more of a not-so-known person, but made themselves known when there was a big issue on the line, and it was time for, like, they're both good choices, but it's like, one was kind of calling for the good stuff beforehand, like, McCarthy was the one saying, we need to leave Vietnam, like now, whereas Bobby Kennedy was keeping his views on Vietnam hush-hush. And then all of a sudden, after McCarthy got a lot of credit for it, he's like, hey, I am also anti-Vietnam. But, Lightfoot, do what you can do with Chicago. But if you can't do anything about Chicago, well, LaShawn K4 2023, anybody. Next story. 2 women have now accused Joe Biden of inappropriate touching. Just 2? Just 2? But anyways, Joe Biden's presumptive presidential campaign is already facing its first crises. Former congressional aide Amy Lapos told Hartford Courant on Monday that Biden touched her inappropriately, including rubbing noses with her at a political fundraiser in 2009. The allegations follow an essay for The Cut by former Nevada Democratic legislator Lucy Flores, in which she said former vice president behaved inappropriately towards her at a campaign event in 2014. It wasn't sexual, but he did grab me by the head, Lapos said. He put his hand around my neck and pulled me into it and rubbed noses with. When he was pulling into me, I thought he was going to kiss me on the mouth. The allegations echo Flores' experience, which she described in her essay published Friday. I felt him get closer to me from behind. He leaned further and inhaled my hair. I was mortified, Flores wrote. I thought to myself, I didn't wash my hair today, and the Vice President of the United States is smelling it? Oh, and also, what in the actual fuck? Why is the Vice President of the United States smelling my hair? He proceeded to plant a big, slow kiss on the back of my head. Flores said that while she's not suggesting the encounter qualified as sexual harassment or as a criminal act, it was still out of line for the Vice President to touch her, a relative stranger, in such an intimate way, while in a professional setting. The funny part is, this isn't the worst part of the story. The worst part of the story is that there are people out there that are defending Joe Biden, and not only defending Joe Biden, but accusing Lucy Flores and Amy Lapos of being Bernie plants. A couple of months ago, you and me were on the same crowd crying that Christine Blasey Ford was right and that Kavanaugh should resign. And now, when it points the finger to Joe Biden, you're like, oh, no way. This is stupid. And the reason why it's stupid is very simple. This is not the first time Joe Biden has done this. Joe Biden has touched women inappropriately for years. Years. This is nothing new. This is the equivalent of Michael Jackson having another pedophilia accusation. This is nothing new. This is just nothing new. It'd be the equivalent of Louis C.K. having another woman say he masturbated in front of me. This is nothing new. These are things that people were talking about when he was gonna when they thought he was gonna run for president in 2016. This is a lot of things. This is like, and even Stacey Abrams, who I almost gave credit to about like saying like, no, Joe, I don't want to be your running mate. You're just doing this for stupid reasons. She's like, now we shouldn't hold this against Joe Biden. Stacey, no. This is, I mean, I wouldn't say this is necessarily a disqualifier, but why are you defending Joe Biden? He smelled a woman's hair. He was just like, that is what Joe Biden did. And they're like, come on, it's just an old man who's having a little fun time. And the funniest part is, like, a couple of months ago, when, when Bernie Sanders had that whole thing about, like, how some people associated with the Sanders campaign, nobody important, just, like, people who, like, New York affiliates, or, like, someone who was, like, in charge of, like, a certain aspect of the organization, did some sexism and, like, maybe some, like, minor, like, hey, baby, come over here. They're like, hey, Bernie, you should not run. This is disqualifying. Now all of a sudden, like, no, Joe Biden should still run. Like, the funniest part is, I disqualified Joe Biden way before these allegations. These aren't, like, again, they're not disqualifiers. But these are definitely things that, like, put a kink in... I mean, I get it. Haha, kink. Put a kink in this thing. I mean, this is just big. I'm just going to assume that... Because, I mean, based on prior evidence, I can assume that these are true... Because the creepy Uncle Joe vibe has been around for a while. This is stuff that's not new. There is a video of... Hold on, let me see if I could find this specific one. It's one with Joe Biden and Heidi Heitkamp. I'm just gonna play it. Here it is.
Spread your legs, you're gonna be frisked. Drop your hands. You say that to somebody in North Dakota, they think it's a frisk. Drop your hands to the side, They think you're in trouble.
He literally told her, "You're gonna get frisked." And look at her. She's just like, why is the vice president saying this to me? It's like, and then there's just like, and Joe Biden tries to make light of these. Like, now he's trying to make light. This kid... Sorry, I'm recording this in the dark, so if I screw up typing... Well, I mean, I think this may be going a bit too far, but I mean, come on. I mean, there are like compilations of Joe Biden touching people inappropriately. Look! Not just this. I already saw that. Look.
Stephanie, my perfect wife here.
Look. 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 And this man's saying this is his wife. This is not how you react to some other man. If I did this to someone else's wife, there'd be fisticuffs. This is no Joe Biden. This is not a thing. Like, and this is the hilarious part. Michael Bloomberg has actually jumped on this and said, like a while ago, he said, I'm not running for president, but then he said, well, hold on a minute. Joe Biden be accused of these things? I think I'll throw my hat back in the ring, maybe. But anyways, we're just going to move on to the next story because, I mean, this is just stupid. Like, you could see comments of people online going like, hey, you need to blah, 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 blah. But anyways, let's just move on to the next story. Brexit. I missed a lot about Brexit because in between Brexit, here's what happened with Brexit in the meantime. Brexit. Okay, first, I don't have pictures and stuff to describe it, but you'll just have to take my word for it. Theresa May, all of her votes got rejected for her proposals for Brexit. No deal, like a no deal Brexit, which would mean that they would just leave the European Union without any plans, that got rejected. A member of the Conservative Party resigned due to the Tory party's ineffectiveness in compromising on Brexit. Theresa May promised that if Brexit happened, she would resign as Prime Minister. And this. They back a delay bill by one vote. They agree to delay Brexit. Like, they're just going to delay it because there was literally no other way that it could do it. It was either delay Brexit or just leave with no deal. And if you know anything about Brexit, you would know this one thing. Nobody knew what they were doing. They didn't have a plan going in. They didn't have a plan. If, like, Theresa May, everybody was convinced that leaving the European Union wasn't going to happen, so they didn't have a plan. Unfortunately, a lot of the British population, they didn't know what leaving the EU meant, so they left. So they voted to leave. And then people had to explain to them, actually, now that we're going to leave the EU, here are all the things that are going to change. And it included a lot of things such as many people their jobs are going to be changed and like be made harder because trade deals will have to be renegotiated and all that stuff. So they're like, oh, I probably should have stayed in the EU. Oh no. Whoops. I mean, there are people who voted to leave the EU, and then after realizing what was going to happen, they're like, I should have changed my vote. That's why many people in the Labour Party have been calling for a re-vote, because many people, they're having buyer's remorse. Like, let's try a new referendum. Now that people actually know what they're voting on this time, we should actually try to, fix things. I think this is one of the major arguments against mandatory voting, because people, if they don't know what they're voting on, they're going to make bad decisions. Now, in my opinion, here's what we should have done in any referendum or when you vote for a candidate or anything. Here's what you should do. Like, for some reason, literary material, at least from where I am, is not allowed in voting booths. Like, I can't bring in with me a Democratic Party voting guide because of reasons. Like, I can't bring a voting guide or anything with me. Here's what we should do instead. Before you go cast your vote, there's a book. And that, there's just, they do this now, but it's actually before Election Day, where they have a book with all the candidates, all their information, like, what are their major positions on the issues, like, their party affiliation, and for referendums, what does each referendum do? They should have that. You should be able to read that before you cast your vote, right before or even during your vote, because that'll guarantee that people at least read what's going on. So, yeah, that is what's going on with the EU. Will they leave? I don't know. At this point, they're probably not going to leave. But anyways, now before we get into any of this stuff, here are two bills that recently passed in the Senate. Not in the Senate, in the House. I think it's a joint session in both things. But anyways, they both passed, and they're both seen as major bills. The first one is the Reauthorization Act of the Violence Against Women Act. It passed with 230 Democrats voting yes, 33 Republicans voting yes, 137 Republicans voting no, 1 Republican voting present, 6 Republicans not voting, 3 Democrats not voting. But wait, there's one Democrat that didn't vote. Place your bets now in the comment section. No, seriously. Pause this video. Place your bets in the comment section. Who is the Democrat that voted no? I'll wait. Give up. It was Colin Peterson. Yay! Like, TYT just did a video about him. Colin Peterson. The Joe Manchin of the House. I mean, there's not much you really know about this bill. I mean, I give credit to the Republicans who... This is a bill that I would sincerely think, yeah, I'd vote on it. I don't know every detail. Like, I mean, there's like ones like, who voted? I'm actually curious. Who voted present? Why don't I just find present? Who voted present? Here we go. Jeff Fortenberry of Nebraska's 1st District. I don't know if he has a reason. But anyways, like, the more libertarian ones also voted no. I mean, they don't like big government, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, now, here's the big one. Congress votes to end U.S. military assistance to Saudi Arabia. House voted 247 to 175 to send the resolution to Trump's desk, where it is likely to be met with a veto. I applaud Ro Khanna. I applaud all of the people who voted for it. I mean, no, hold on. Let me see. I know this is gonna, like, lengthen the episode, but I don't care. I want to see who did it. Who, like, made it. Who did it? Who actually, you know, did the thing. You know what I mean. Who voted for it? I know I just said, you know, that blah, blah, blah. Now, why don't I just write Yemen? No, is this the right bill? Is there like a different Yemen bill? Well, I mean, anyways, I want to just see who. I'll include like a. Does this have? I mean, does this have like a link to it? Like, that's what I really hate about these websites. They always give like a link. They always say like, you voted the blah blah blah, but they never send a link. I want to see who voted against it or for it. I don't think it's available right now. I don't think it is. But anyways, I applaud Ro Khanna and, like, all the people who tried to get this bill passed. Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, Mike Lee. Like, these guys, they tried. Trump is likely to veto it. But here's the thing. I like when you try to pass the bills and then you openly have the people go against it. Because then you'll actually be able to say, you actually be able to point your fingers and go, this is the guy keeping the war going. Have that, do that. As Mike Gravel said, let him filibuster the bill. That way you can actually point your fingers at them and go, these are the people preventing peace. The next story, I don't think I'll be on it this long. I don't think I'll be on it that long anyways. Candace Owens to testify in congressional hearing on hate crimes and white nationalism. Candace Owens, a popular African-American conservative activist, will testify before the House Judiciary Committee next month during a hearing on hate crimes and white nationalism. Owens, communications director for Talking Point USA, will join Eileen Herzanov, senior vice president for the policy of the Anti-Defamation League, Eva Patterson, president of the Equal Justice Society, and Neil Potts, a public policy director of Facebook, among others, the hearing Tuesday. This hearing will examine hate crimes, the impact that white nationalist groups have on the American communities, and the spread of white identity ideology. The hearing will also foster ideas about what social media companies can do to stem white nationalist propaganda and hate speech online, the committee said in a statement. Owens rose to national prominence, garnering a large social media following, promoting her idea that the Democratic Party takes black voters for granted and that they should leave the party in a Blexit, a play on the word Brexit. She has increasingly found herself in the Republican mainstream, appearing in February at the Conservative Political Action, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, I don't really know what to make of it. They've legitimized Candace Owens. She's going to be an actual thing where she, talks with the people of Congress. I'm pretty sure she's only there just to get, attention. I think she's probably waiting to see if Ilhan Omar's on the thingy. I predict that if Ilhan Omar's there, she's gonna make a big fucking political theater scene about you see, this is why you guys can't handle white nationalism, is because you have an anti-Semite on that, blah, blah, blah. And it stinks because, Candace Owens, I know she really hates this, but get ready, folks. I'm gonna say a racial slur to Candace Owens right now. You're a token. Yeah, because Candace Owens thinks it's a racial slur. I'm not kidding. She legitimately believes the word token is a racial slur. Yeah, me and Candace Owens went to Chuck E. Cheese's, and then I said, don't worry, Candace, you want me to get some tokens? And she was like, how dare you say that? My people fought to fight against that word. And I'm like, chill, bro. I just wanted to get you some tokens. Don't you ever say that to me. Let me crack that whip on you. Okay, I don't really care. But anyways, next story, whatever. This one's a big one. A big doozy. Ecuador's UK ambassador rejects WikiLeaks claims that Julian Assange is about to be expelled from its London embassy and arrested following a deal with Britain, despite armed police surrounding the building. WikiLeaks whistleblower Julian Assange is to be kicked out of the Ecuadorian embassy, the website claims. The site posted tweets saying high-level sources said that he would be handed to UK police in hours or days. An arrest warrant remains in place for Mr. Assange after he was accused of sex crimes against Swedish women. Protesters arrived at the scene early hours after calls went out to protect the WikiLeaks founder. This is big. Like, I know they always, like, make, like, think about, like, we're gonna arrest Julian Assange. No, just kidding, lol. But if Julian Assange is gonna be arrested, kiss your freedom of speech goodbye. Because I don't care what anyone says, Julian Assange is a good... He's a good. He's not evil. He's not working with Russia. He's not some foul creature. Julian Assange is someone who exposes the U.S.'s war crimes, exposes the crimes that the Democratic Party did against Bernie Sanders. He has done good, done more good for America than Hillary Clinton did. And if I were president right now, I would pardon him. I would allow him to come home. I would give him a Medal of Freedom in person, because this guy deserves it. I mean, there are a lot more people who are more vocal about this than I am, because, I mean, I'm not necessarily the biggest follower of WikiLeaks. I don't actually frequent their website. I usually get them from a secondhand source. But anyways, I guess next story. This one's a good one. Scoop. Trump expected to name Herman Cain to Federal Reserve Board. President Trump confirmed on Thursday that he wants Herman Cain on the Federal Reserve Board, pending a vetting process. Earlier in the day, Axios reported that he was waiting on the vetting before announcing formal nomination. Why it matters. It's likely confirmation that Trump is ready to move ahead with the former presidential candidate, whose possible nomination was reported by Bloomberg in January. He won't formally announce until the vet is complete, but he likes Cain and wants to put him on the things, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a lot of shady stuff because, you know, Herman Cain is kind of like a shady Republican Tea Party businessman. But there's one thing about him that I like. Herman Cain, you might remember him. Like, The Daily Show made fun of him for this. But this is actually, like, hilarious. Herman Cain quoted a Pokemon movie during the campaign. Not just once, but multiple times. During a freaking presidential debate, he said, and I quote, "I heard from a great poet. Life can be a challenge. Life can be impossible. But it's never easy when there's so much on the line." Which is, word for word, the beginning lyrics of a song from the Pokemon movie. I'm not gonna put the song on because you know what happened to Smosh the last time they put a Pokemon song in their thing. I mean, the good poet that he said is Donna Summer. But, like, it's kind of funny. It's funny that he, like, legitimately quoted a Pokemon movie multiple times during the campaign. But, I mean, that's all I really have to say positive about Herman Cain. The rest of his stuff sucks. Like, I mean, there was one time where he was even quoted as saying, like, "I remember when I was in a barber shop, I was a bit distrusting of this, you know, Brown fella, because he had a too foreign name." I mean, that's not good. But anyways, now let's move on to 2020 watch. 2020, you know, that's the first presidential election I get to vote for, blah, 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 blah. Here are some updates on 2020 candidates. You may notice some names. William Floyd Weld, Bill. Maurice Robert Gravel. They filed. They're ready to go. Bill Weld is filed and ready to fight against Donald Trump. And Mike Gravel is filed and ready to go. They're both ready to run. They just need to make a formal announcement, and it's coming soon. Bill Weld being the only person who's challenging him on the Republican side. Will it be... I'm pretty sure he's just going to be a Bill Bradley. You know, he's just going to run and nobody's going to care. On the Green Party side of things, Howie Hawkins officially announces an exploratory committee. And I mean, considering in America, exploratory committees are nothing. They're just someone who actually is willing to just run. He keeps asking this question, should I run or draft Howie? Letters from supporters. Like, there's a huge letter from supporters that want him to run for president. But I will tell you this. I'll just tell you up front this. If Howie Hawkins decides to run for the presidency, if he wants to run for the nomination of the Green Party, he will win. Like, I'm telling you now, I can pretty much predict, like, in a fair primary process, here's what's going to happen. In a fair world, it's going to be Trump, Bernie, Kokesh, and Howie Hawkins. I don't know who the Constitution Party is because nobody's really announced yet. Howie Hawkins, I'm sorry, Synonym, I'm sorry, Ian, but if Howie enters, the race is over. It is over. Dario thought he was the front runner, but nope. Howie. The only way things would get even more lopsided is if a previous candidate actually announced that they're going to run, like Cynthia McKinney or Ralph Nader. Because, I mean, why not? They're just going to... Like, I mean, people have been... I mean, I'm surprised it took them this long. So, yeah, I'm just going to wait until see if he formally announces. Because if he does, I think he'd be a great candidate. I mean, considering with Greens, your options are pretty much, oh, do I pick the Catholic one, the founder of the party, the black one, the Jewish one, the other white one? Like, that's pretty much the only options you have for the Green Party. But anyways, next story / candidate. Eric Swalwell is running for president on gun safety. Now, I mean, this guy, he hasn't formally announced yet. He's not actually running yet. It's Eric Swalwell. He's representative from California. California congressman partnering with Parkland students, says he isn't afraid of the NRA. There are more long-shot Democrats running for president this year than there have been in total candidate in previous campaigns, and next week, Eric Swalwell will be joining the pack. I mean, he's been one of the biggest voices for Russiagate. I mean, that's stupid, but Eric Swalwell is set to announce his candidacy with the main idea of gun control, because literally no other candidate is for gun control. I mean, Bernie Sanders and Cory Booker walk on stage with their AKs in hand. I mean, Kamala, don't get me started. She has a big Glock, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean, once I tell something about the next big thing, you'll see this whole thing as just big. The next thing is actually the Democratic field shrinking. Minor candidate Ryan Farber announces that he's dropping out of the race. I reported on him earlier, so I thought it'd be best to follow it up with him dropping out. I endorsed him next to Andrew Yang, but I mean, now that Ryan Farber's gone, who cares? But lastly, the biggest name that is run, Tim Ryan, has announced that he is running for president. And I'm sorry to say it, but Tim Ryan, I think he's just got the best chance of all the candidates. Bernie, Tulsi, O'Rourke, Biden. I mean, I'm sorry. Tim Ryan has you beat. I mean, Tim Ryan has you beat. I mean, just legitimately. I mean, take a look at his amazing platform. Take a look at this amazing platform. It's time for us to start building the America we deserve. Wow, nobody has thought of that before. Okay, I mean, let's be completely honest. Tim Ryan. Oh, here we go. We have a Bobby Kennedy quote. What we need in the United States is not division. Cory Booker logo ripoff? Wow. I'm so inspired to vote for Tim Ryan. Okay. Now, I'm just actually gonna... He already has a... Why do all of these candidates have stores open and no platform? They look it up. Every single candidate, they're willing to have a freaking store up before they have a platform ready. Okay, let's be fair. Let's actually give Tim Ryan a chance. Let me read some of Tim Ryan's stuff. An American politician serving as the U.S. representative from Ohio's 13th congressional district since 2003. The district used to be numbered 17, but you know. Blah, 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 blah. What are his big accomplishments as a U.S. representative? Okay. After he became office due to the fact that his predecessor had... What? Apparently he was in the same district as Sherrod Brown? Oh, no, wait, I messed up. There was redistricting that put someone else's district in Sherrod Brown's district, and then that led Tim Ryan to walk in and become the congressman. But anyways, let's see what are the big things. In his first year of office, Ryan was one of 7 members of Congress who voted against the Do Not Call Implementation Act, and one of 8 congressmen who opposed the ratification of the FTC's Do Not Call registry. Ryan was a member of the 30-something working group, which is a congressional caucus that includes those members of the House of Representatives who are Democrats and have not turned to the age of 40. It was organized by the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, to energize and engage younger people in politics, focusing on issues that are important to them. Haha, he can't be part of this group now. Ha 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 ha. Ryan voted for the Stupak Amendment restricting federal abortion. But in January of 2015, he announced that he gained a deeper understanding of the complexities and the emotions of the companies of blah 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 and is now pro-choice. Before the 2004 presidential election, he spoke on the House floor in an impassioned speech denouncing the Bush administration. Okay, I mean that's a good thing. He criticized Bush for the war. And the biggest thing that people know him for is initiating a bid to replace Nancy Pelosi as House Minority Leader in 2016. And I mean, she defeated Ryan by 134 to 63. Some of those people who supported him were like Beto O'Rourke and Seth Moulton. His congressional caucuses are arts, after school. Like, I mean, to be perfectly honest, Tim Ryan, he's a moderate. Like, that's the thing. It always seems that the moderates are the ones who try to replace Nancy Pelosi, never the progressives. It's never the progressives. It's always the freaking moderates. He's a moderate Democrat. I mean, but here's the thing. Like, He's a moderate Democrat. Yeah. That's the thing. He's a moderate. I'm on Warren's page now, I guess. I mean, just because he's a... That's his thing. His platform is kind of like the working class white voter that... I think that's his thing. He wants to be like a working class white voter. He wants to be that candidate. Which, I mean, technically, if you wanted to do that, that would be one thing. I mean, if you actually tried to appeal to them, but, I mean, I think he might. It's kind of like this is the thing about Tim Ryan. And the thing about Tim Ryan is this. Aside from him being a moderate and stuff, here's the weird thing about him. He's trying to be... he's trying to be Diet Sherrod Brown. But whereas Sherrod Brown can actually do like a little bit of a left-wing populist stint, Tim Ryan, he's really just the moderate guy. That's his thing. He's just, I'm the moderate who is also here. And again, that's it. There's nothing special about Tim Ryan. A moderate in Washington is nothing, because there is literally nothing. The only moderates in Washington that mean something are the ones who are third-party guys, or the ones who are Republicans, because moderate Republicans, people love them. I mean, look at Suzanne Collins and Lisa Murkowski. People have, huge, love for them. But Tim Ryan, he's really just, and I mean, he's kind of like a John Kasich, not in the sense of, political positions, but, in the sense of, he's the, again, he's kind of like the, kind of lost my train of thought, it just went, Sherrod Brown, not Sherrod Brown, Tim Ryan is just kind of Diet Sherrod Brown. He's going to be like John Kasich. John Kasich really only won Ohio. That's pretty much it. But however, many people have noticed something interesting about some of these candidates and what states they are in. Okay, look. No. Dang it. Of course we got Maryland, New York, Hawaii, Texas, California, Indiana, California, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Vermont, Washington, Colorado, Texas, New York, Florida, Alaska, Ohio. Some of these, people are noticing, there are a lot of candidates running for president. Of course, no duh. But a couple of these candidates, many people have been noticing, have correlations with the 2016 Democratic primaries. Some of the states that Bernie did well in, Washington, Hawaii, Alaska, Indiana, and even with Ojeda, West Virginia, and states that he barely lost, Ohio, actually, to be perfectly honest, he barely lost Ohio. He got, very close in Ohio, kind of. He, they're isn't it a bit odd that that in all of these states that he did well in, they're putting, these candidates are running against him. And I think with Colorado. Yeah, that's Colorado. Yeah, he won in Colorado too. But, notice how he's, in all these states that he did well in, they're putting candidates in. Many people have been, thinking, what if they're doing this so that they'll be forced to be a second ballot. That way, it can, that way, when Bernie, when Bernie, who's supposed to have a larger voting base, especially this time around, because a lot of the young people who couldn't vote for him last time around can actually vote. They, especially considering, when a candidate drops out, let's say John Delaney drops out. Gee, I wonder why I singled out John Delaney. And then he decides, you know what candidate I think should be the Democratic nominee for president? I think it should be John Hickenlooper. All these candidates, they're going to drop out one by one and endorse each other. I mean, inevitably culminating between Bernie Sanders and one of the corporatists, or maybe some progressive holdout will be we'll also maybe Warren will stay in the race as well. But all these candidates that are, going around, the reason why there's so many candidates this time around, especially when 2016 could have also been up for grabs, is because they're trying to push a second ballot on us. Which is why many people have actually kind of been praising Tulsi Gabbard, because at the convention, Tulsi can literally say to all the delegate holdouts, go vote for Bernie. Because that's the thing, a candidate can literally just say, I want my delegates to go vote for that guy. Hubert Humphrey, he literally just told all of his black delegates, go vote for Shirley Chisholm, because I know you want to vote for her, so go vote for her. And that could inevitably be leading to, possibly no Bernie 2020. And here's the thing, and I mean, Howie, Sydenham, Ian, you know where I'm going if they pull this BS on us. I mean, look, that's Corey's 2020 logo. I just pointed at my screen, and that's Tim Ryan's. Same. Okay, now let's move on to what the actual topic of this video is. Dang it, why'd I go here? The Political Compass Quiz. I decided that I'd be taking the Political Compass Quiz because, it might be shorter than, last time around. I mean, not last time around, but it might be shorter than, me taking the I Side With quiz. Now, a reminder, these are my results from last time. This is what I got last time around. Just in this section, there's not much really. I don't believe we need to focus on the whole. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much what I got. So last time around. So I'm just trying to. I do this every month or so. I know it's been a while. I try not to do this every month. Now, at least now, but I'm gonna at least see what the Political Compass quiz actually got for me. I was planning on taking another new quiz, but I can't find any. Send me political quizzes in the comment section below if you want me to take better quizzes. But anyways, again, remember that was what we got last time around. Now let me give some more. Now before I continue, let me do some things. These are some ideological music. So if you ever happen to be a part of these ideologies, why don't you go check out some of these songs? Now again, I need to remind you, I do have some problems with the I Side With quiz. I mean, this is accurate. Trump and Hillary and authoritarian riot, Jill Stein, and this is accurate. But then when you go back to 2012, again, this one is rather accurate. We get to Rocky Anderson. He's over here when he should be over here. And I think Stewart should be at least a little up. This is accurate, though. I'd say that's accurate. And in the 2008 presidential election, I'd say this is accurate as well. And Mike Gravel, you're all the way over here. You should be over here, or at least here. And how did Ron Paul get from here to here? Like, how does he go from here to here in, like, the span of that? Because in my recollection, Ron Paul's been rather ideologically consistent. I clicked 2008 again. Let me just change this to 4. And, like, again, this is accurate, I'd say. Do they have 2000? No, of course not. But anyways, let's just move on to the test and see if any of my viewpoints changed. And I'm just gonna level with you. Don't expect me to go from here to here or from here to here or whatever. It's just gonna probably just be like, instead of 6, maybe 7, or instead of 5, maybe 6. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve the humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Yeah, I guess I'll have to say agree, because I'd say strongly agree, because, again, humanity, more rights than corporations. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. Disagree. There have been mistakes in our country's past and in our present, and I do not always support the United States in every single endeavor. Ultimately, I am an American, so I wouldn't say strongly disagree. Like, I'm not going to be like, yes, I'm going to commit treason. But, I will agree when the U.S. does bad things. No one chooses his or her country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Now, this is one I'm kind of always like, you really should have that option here, because I really cannot say for a shadow of a doubt, like, really, like, which one I would be. I guess I'll go with agree, because, yeah, we're born in America, yeah. It's kind of like, we don't have, like, people say, like, what does it mean to truly be an American? And I'm like, be an American citizen. Our race has many superior qualities compared to other races. Strongly disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Disagree. We can't start allyships based on who we hate. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Strongly disagree. No. The Geneva Convention is right. We need to do the Geneva Convention, always. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. No, I disagree. I think that people should be informed, even if it is just by watching BoJack Horseman. People are ultimately divided more by class than nationality. I'd say agree, yeah. It doesn't matter if we're black or white. The rich people are always still going to be rich, and the poor people are always going to be poor. It's better to have class warfare. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. I don't know. Controlling inflation. If we controlled inflation, that means that prices would be, not prices, but like, our money would be stagnant. Well, I'm out of the way. Well, I'm here. I might as well just, yeah. But, dang it. I didn't click move forward. Where do that always happens. My touchpad just broke like a while ago, and I need to get a mouse, like an actual mouse. I guess they'll put agree? I'm not sure. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. It's a fundamentally good idea. It's a Karl Marx idea, but as the years go by, I kind of drift more and more towards socialism. So because the problem is, nobody actually explains to me what that means. From each according to his ability. So, if he has the ability to have something, From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. I'll put agree here. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. It gets hard for me to, say something on this because I don't know. Because nobody's actually explained to me what this means. I'm trying to figure out what this means here. From each according to his ability. So that would mean if he has the ability to do something, I think I get it. If you have the ability to make something that I need, you should do that. I mean, I guess I'd have to say yeah. So, I guess I'll give you an example if you don't understand what I mean. Let's say you're a carpenter and you have the ability to make wooden crutches, and then you have a next door neighbor who can't use his legs, but he doesn't have the money to afford crutches, so you should make wooden crutches for him because it'll help us move along with society better. I guess I could say I agree with that. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. I don't know. I'm a social democrat at heart, but I mean, there's some socialist tendencies where I'm like, you almost get me there. I will strongly agree on that. I guess I'll say agree, because as the song goes, this land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island. It is regrettable I already answered that. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. Absolutely. Keep our jobs and our Americas. The only social responsibility of a product should be to deliver profit to its shareholders. No. Because, no. Strongly disagree, because not only do you have to bring a profit to your shareholders, you got to bring a quality product to the consumer, and you have to make sure they're not getting screwed over. The rich are too highly taxed. Absolutely not. Those with the ability to pay should have higher standards of medical care. No, I'd say I put disagree here, and I strongly disagree here because I don't know. I just feel personally that putting disagree here would mean that it gets my message across that universal healthcare should be a thing. Because if they just said, no, I disagree because I think we should have a universal healthcare system. That's the reason. These questions are meant to be vague so that you can actually get I'll just put no. So you can get that thing. Government should penalize businesses that mislead the public. I'll put agree. Yeah. I think agree would be good here. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Yeah, strongly disagree. Disney shouldn't own everything. Even now I'm getting a little bit more politically aware, I'm kind of even though I'm yes, finally, the X-Men get to be part of the MCU, on one hand I'm yeah. And on the other hand I'm wait, Fox? There's another company that just got consumed by another company. Wow. This is bad. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna be controlled by Disney at one point. Abortion, when a woman's life is not threatened, should be always illegal. I have this dyslexia thing or something. Abortion, when a woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. No, abortion should be illegal to everyone who wants it. I believe that we should have mandatory abortions. All authority should be questioned. Absolutely, yeah. Even if I'm the president, Mr. Beat should have the right to make videos on his YouTube channel about how bad of a job I'm doing. an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Nah, I'd say disagree. Not strongly disagree, because I do believe that there should be some punishment, but I wouldn't say like it shouldn't be like, oh, I gouged a woman's eye out and then feasted upon her brains. So I sentence you to death by someone gouging your eye out and feasting upon your brains. Taxpayers should not be expected to run many theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. No, I'd say public works and the arts are really good, so I put just disagree. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I mean, when they take your students, you shouldn't be like thrown in jail at the very least. I mean, schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. I guess I'll put disagree, because if classroom attendance isn't compulsory, there should be some punishment, but I don't think the punishment should be sending your parents to jail or something. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that have different sorts to keep people No, disagree. I mean, I'll put disagree, because I believe everybody should be, everybody should be getting along. Good parents sometimes have to spank their kids. I think so, yeah. I mean, I personally probably wouldn't spank my kids, because I don't feel comfortable putting my hand on a, young child's rear end. I mean, Jared, when he did that, he went to jail, but, I mean, come on. But I would say some parents might like to spank, I mean, not like, but like, they should, if they think that I think it means that some children should have the rights to, children deserve some punishment when they do something wrong. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Yeah, I agree. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. Strongly disagree. Absolutely. Legalize the dank. I'll even use the Austin Peterson quote, because that's actually kind of cool. I want gay married couples to protect their marijuana fields with fully automatic rifles. The prime function of schooling should be to equip future generations to find jobs. I guess, kind of, yeah. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. Strongly disagree. I believe everybody, regardless of what disabilities you should have, you should be allowed to reproduce, because guess what? Abortion's legal. You got a child with Down syndrome? No more Down syndrome. Kid dead, but no more Down syndrome. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. I would say disagree. I believe all kids should rebel. I never rebelled, but I didn't rebel openly, but I rebelled, kind of. There's no savage and civilized people. There are only different cultures. I'll put agree, because there's some savage people, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily their culture that makes them savage. Those with the ability to work and refusing opportunity should not expect society's support. I'll put slightly disagree, because, there's some people who, they can't find a job. At least have a federal jobs guarantee before you can say, blah, blah, blah. When you are troubled, it's best not to think about it and to keep busy with cheerful things. Strongly disagree. I keep to myself when I'm troubled, but, it's because I don't have that many friends in real life to talk to. And even the friends I do have, they don't have time to talk to me, but it bottles up and it gets bad. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated with their new country. Disagree. Some can, some can't, but you'll never know. Some immigrants refuse to learn English. That's just their thing. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us. No, because the good for corporations is killing the earth. No broadcasting institution, however independent in its content, should receive public funding. No, disagree. I like PBS. PBS Kids. I like PBS Kids. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. Strongly agree. Yeah, Patriot Act. Screw the Patriot Act. That would have been Russ Feingold. Then I would have voted against Patriot Act. A significant advantage of a one-party system, a one-party state, is that it avoids all the arguments and delays. No, I think that democracy is wonderful. I mean, granted, to an extent, there might be some drag, but I mean, inevitably, you're just gonna have some politicians that just never get along. Sorry, I had a drink because you can hear my voice. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Disagree. I think the fact that the government can watch us and is watching me currently right now is kind of dangerous, and I'm leaving the drinking water bit in because I don't feel like editing it. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Yeah, sure. If a man runs into a school, kills and decapitates all the children, and then proceeds to have sex with their neck holes, and it's caught on video camera, again, there's without a shadow of a doubt that this man is guilty, kill him. I don't care. For a practical reason, the death penalty is good. The problem is, if there is even a shadow of a doubt that this man is guilty, life in prison. Because here's the thing. What would you rather have happen to you or a family member? Have them be locked in jail for 12 years and then get set free due to the fact that they find out that that man didn't commit the crime? Or would you rather have them die? In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. I guess technically, yeah. But I mean, again, I'm kind of in the middle here because, inevitably there's going to be some guy on top, whether it be your boss at work or the president or blah, blah, blah. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. Strongly disagree. Art is subjective. I consider the Carl Pilkington show, Sick of It, art, but some people might think it's garbage. I just watched it. It's really good. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Disagree. I believe that you should, if they can be rehabilitated, they should be. It is a waste of our time to try and rehabilitate some criminals. Yeah, I agree. You're not going to rehabilitate Charles Manson. You could rehabilitate some people, but Charles Manson is a lost cause. He's a lost cause now because he's dead. The businessman and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Strongly disagree. And I'm not just saying that because I'm into the arts. Shh. Mothers have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Strongly disagree. There can be strong women who don't have children. AOC, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Pramila Jayapal. All good people. And even the ones on the Republican side. They don't have to be homemakers. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Yeah, I'd say agree. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. No, fuck the establishment. Astrology accurately predicts many things. Nope. You cannot be moral without being religious. Nope. You can be moral without being religious. Some people are naturally unlucky. I would say disagree. Technically, mostly due to their circumstance. Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Disagree, because charity is good in some aspects, but it's kind of an excuse to try and disregard Social Security. Is it important that my child's school instills religious values? Nope. And finally, let's look at sex. Sex outside of marriage is usually immoral. Nope. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Absolutely. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be illegal for the adult population. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Yeah, sure. If you and your neighbor Bob and your neighbor Carol and your wife and your neighbor Sharon, if you all decide to have a little fun in your bedroom, that's none of the concern. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Strongly disagree. That is just BS. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Nope. Everybody should be open about their sexuality. Even if you're into, like, armpits or feet or poop or whatever. Be open about it. I don't judge. Now let's see where you stand. I predict I'm still going to be in the libertarian left quadrant. Okay, here we go. Whoa. Like, I mean, it seems I've kind of shifted. I'm a bit more leftist. It's true. I am shifting more towards socialism. Hold on. 585, 560. I've only gotten slightly more libertarian. And I've gotten significantly more left. Sweet. Yes, and then we can party all night, all long. So, yeah. Now I'm further left and a little further down. Pretty soon I'll be here. I'm kind of drifting further and further away from Bernie. I'm getting further left than him. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified when a future video mine comes out. And if you're interested in more political content from me, you can go to my website or follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Quora, or check out my articles on the Independent Political Report. What are your thoughts on my results? Do you think I'm a dirty leftist, or you right on my mark? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, go to my other video to give me questions. I want questions. Give me more questions.